Okay, welcome everyone to the Out Georgia Ambassador Program training session. Out Georgia serves as Georgia's only LGBTQ+ focused Chamber of Commerce, and we're absolutely proud of that and proud to have you here. My name is Chris Lugo, and I serve as Executive Director of the Out Georgia Business Alliance. I've been with this organization for just over a year and honored to serve as your Executive Director. And Nicole, take it away.
And I am Nicole Palmietto, and I am the membership coordinator here. I'm happy to get to help all of our members and partners take advantage of their membership and this community that we have built. I have been with Out Georgia for about 2.5 years.
Wonderful. And would you mind giving us a rundown? What are we going to cover today?
Absolutely. So we're super excited to have all of you here and relaunch this amazing ambassador program. Today we're going to cover the Out Georgia mission and history, the purpose of the ambassador program, the expectations, benefits, and engagement opportunities available to ambassadors, and then wrap it up with some milestones for Out Georgia and the state LGBTQ+ business community. And then have some Q&As from all of you on this training.
Wonderful. Great. So I want to go ahead and get things started here. The mission of the Out Georgia Business Alliance, for me, is pretty darn simple. We serve, again, as Georgia's only LGBT Chamber of Commerce, and it's all about promoting the economic growth and advancement of the LGBTQ+ and allied business community. So that, think everything from solo entrepreneurs up to our largest corporate partners here in Atlanta and across the state of Georgia, our nonprofit community, as well as professionals, individuals who join to make sure they're really taking advantage of what we have to offer by way of networking, job opportunities, and professional development. We have a long and deep history and roots here with the LGBTQ+ community in Atlanta and across the state of Georgia. And actually, we started 25 years ago, officially in 1994, as the Greater Atlanta Business Coalition. On the next slide, you'll see the genesis of that start in 1994 was actually with a group in the 1980s called the Fourth Tuesday that got together and really worked to develop an expo all about promoting LGBT-owned businesses. In 1994, that organization, in conjunction with the Atlanta Executive Network, created the Greater Atlanta Business Coalition, which served as one of the very first recognized LGBT chambers of commerce in the nation. And we're organized as a 501c6, which is a Chamber of Commerce or business membership organization. In 2016, as we've evolved, then known as the Atlanta Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, we were chosen as the NGLCC, National LGBT Chamber of Commerce's Chamber of the Year. And just this last fall, many of you hopefully were there live and in person at our Community Awards event, but this past fall, we made the change from the Atlanta Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce to the Out Georgia Business Alliance. That change was intentional for us to grow our scope outside of Metro Atlanta, but also to intentionally look at welcoming a more inclusive and more robust and complete picture of the full spectrum of our LGBTQ+ community, as well as our strong connection with our allies in Atlanta and around the state. When it comes to our strategic focus as the Out Georgia Business Alliance, we have 5 pillars, strategic pillars for our organization, but I want to draw your attention to 3 of those in particular. At the core of who we are and what we do is all around business development and empowerment. So that is around ensuring that our solo entrepreneurs, our entrepreneurs who are looking to start a business, and those who are business owners, business leaders, have the tools and resources they need to grow and expand their business and continue to improve what they do as LGBT-owned businesses and allied businesses here in the state of Georgia. Another I'll point you to is our policy advocacy. Just in May of this year, we announced a strategic alliance with the Georgia Equality Organization, which is the leading advocacy organization for LGBTQ+ Georgians here in the state. We try to ensure that the intersection of LGBTQ+ policy and pro-business policy rings true, and that we connect the dots with educational information back towards our members so that you and all of our business members are informed about the decisions you make from a community and civic engagement perspective. So we're not necessarily telling you how we want you to vote, but we want to make sure that you're informed about your vote and exercising your civic duties here in the state of Georgia. And the third I want to point your attention to is around our community and networking. Our organization thrives on building a really healthy and supportive network of business owners, business leaders, nonprofit leaders, running the gamut to individual professionals as well. But it's all about supporting each other and growing our network opportunities right here in Atlanta and across the state of Georgia. That sense of community building and networking has really been pivotal and a central theme to why folks stay with the Out Georgia Business Alliance and why they value their membership, in addition to the other areas of focus that we've got as a chamber. And speaking of strategic partnerships, on the next slide, I want to give you a sense of some of the relationships we've got as the Out Georgia Business Alliance. One of those key relationships is with the U.S. Small Business Administration and their Georgia office. We work with the SBA to connect the dots again on key educational programming and development for our members, especially as we've moved through the COVID-19 pandemic. As a society, and we know that's nowhere near over. So connecting the dots with the Small Business Administration, their PPP loans, educational opportunities there, as well as all of our participating community partners that connect through the SBA, through the PPP loans, et cetera, to make sure that our members have, again, the resources that you need to navigate COVID-19 or simply navigate starting or growing or expanding your business. We have a relationship with the NGLCC, again, the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce. They're based out of Washington, D.C., and are the certifying body of LGBT-owned business enterprises, which is very similar to the WeBank or Women-Owned Business Enterprise Council, the National Minority Supplier Development Council for minority business enterprises, veteran-owned business enterprises, et cetera. The NGLCC, again, based out of DC, has around 50 affiliate LGBT chambers across the United States, and we, as Out Georgia, are the only one in the state of Georgia affiliated with the NGLCC. I mentioned our relationship with Georgia Equality, the leading advocacy organization here in the state for LGBTQ+ people. ATLGBTQ, that logo is with the city of Atlanta. We have a wonderful relationship with the city of Atlanta. Myself and a couple of board members of ours sit on the Mayor of Atlanta's LGBTQ Advisory Board, where we get to help influence and shape some policy and some priorities for the Mayor of Atlanta when it comes to her support and the city's support of LGBTQ+, the community as well as businesses. In addition to the relationship with the SBA, we've also got a relationship with the Small Business Development Center, which is through the University of Georgia system. And one of our more recent partnerships that we announced is with the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We take the notion of intersectionality incredibly to heart here at the Out Georgia Business Alliance, and we are actively working to develop relationships with other minority chambers of commerce and minority focused and led organizations around the state. So you can expect to see more of these type of relationships developed here over the next year or so. But this is all around ensuring our members can bring their entire self to the Out Georgia Business Alliance, and that we start connecting the dots with other minority focused chambers of commerce and business organizations around the state, because we know if we're able to partner, for example, with the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce or the Atlanta Black Chambers of Commerce or the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, there's only more good we can do for the community at large. On the next slide, I want to give you just a quick glimpse of the type of corporate partners that we've got as an organization. And, you know, we don't say partner or partnership lightly. When it comes to the lineup of corporations, many of them amongst Georgia's most notable corporations, when we look for these relationships, not only are we looking to advance our opportunity to develop programming for our membership, really develop business opportunities. So for example, the Georgia Powers of the world, UPSs of the world have very strong supplier diversity programs where we look to connect the dots with certified LGBT-owned businesses to those organizations to unlock potential business opportunities with those organizations. But we also have expectations ourselves. We expect our corporate partners to be at the bleeding edge of welcoming and supporting the LGBTQ plus community, including their employees, the vendors that they choose, and how they leverage their voice amongst the community. So we look at our corporate partners as not only, again, helping us do more to serve the Out Georgia Business Alliance, but we also look at our partners like Regions. I know I see Charles Kahn on the line here, like Regions Bank, Georgia Power, UPS, and others. We look to them to also leverage their voice to make sure that we are advancing the quality of life and the quality of economic opportunities for LGBTQ plus people across the state of Georgia and beyond. So on the next handful of slides, I want to dive into what our ambassador program is. As Nicole alluded to at the beginning, we had a little bit of a pause or a hiatus on an active ambassador program here over the last several months. And right now is our time to re-energize that program. And I'm so excited that everyone was able to join here today. And we have several folks who are interested, not able to join, but we're sending this recorded session straight to them so we can get them onboarded as well. But our ambassador program is all around connecting the dots with some of our most passionate and active members within the Out Georgia Business Alliance. And especially as we start to expand who we are and what we do and how we serve around the state of Georgia, we need boots on the ground, folks who can really help us tell the story of why the Out Georgia Business Alliance is, an important member and contributor within the larger context of the LGBTQ plus community here in Georgia. But also, we know that as leaders of the Out Georgia Business Alliance amongst our board, myself, Nicole, leaders can't know everything. And we embrace that. So we want to turn to our volunteer ambassadors to help bring additional expertise, additional insights, and to leverage your unique voice in helping advance the case of business and economic opportunity for all LGBTQ plus people. And especially, I would say, those who may be on their entrepreneurial journey or may be on that journey of trying to see themselves somewhere in the business world or corporate world where we can connect the dots with somebody who may look like them and share a part of their experience. So the role of our ambassadors is all around helping us tell the story about Georgia, as well as the story of our members. We know that really making sure that the visibility of our individual members and the organization at large is really important, not only to create that sense of community and belonging within our chamber organization, but also to make sure that we're looking at the visibility outside of the Out Georgia Business Alliance. Like I mentioned, those relationships with the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and other minority-focused organizations, as well as the community at large, we can use our ambassadors to help tell that positive story to folks who may be allies or may not be allies yet, but we're gonna work on bringing them on as strong allies, or to the community at large, especially once we get outside of Metro Atlanta. We're gonna need your help telling that story in an authentic way. We also lean on our ambassadors to help serve as a welcoming presence for our events, both live and virtual. Nicole, in a moment, is going to share with you a number of those opportunities to engage, but our ambassadors are on the front line, and quite literally, especially when we do have live events, of welcoming folks and making sure they feel like the Out Georgia Business Alliance is home. Another part of the role of ambassadors, again, is all around engaging with our members and businesses throughout the year. So as Nicole is going to mention here shortly, it's all around ensuring when one becomes a member of the Out Georgia Business Alliance or one renews their commitment to the Out Georgia Business Alliance, that we've got folks and peers, folks that they know, yes, the executive director and membership coordinator can help them navigate their experience with Out Georgia, but leaning on their peers and somebody who they can maybe share a similar experience with in a more compelling way, that's where you step in and help connect the dots. We also look at our ambassadors to help with the certification process of new LGBT-owned business enterprises. And we'll touch on that in a moment, but it's a great way for our ambassadors to, again, be a frontline offense for those organizations that are looking to take that step to actually certify as an LGBT-owned business, and getting to know those organizations at whatever step in their entrepreneurial journey or development they're in. It's really powerful to look at these site visits, and our ambassadors are going to play a key role in that. And another aspect of this is eventually our ambassadors helping serve on many of the committees that we've got as the Out Georgia Business Alliance's board of directors. So anything from marketing and communications to small business development and programming to community engagement and legal aspects and on down the line. Our ambassadors are also wonderful candidates to get involved even further at a committee level with our board of directors. And that is also an opportunity for us to look at prospective board members here with our ambassador program. So, a great way to take that next step into board membership or leadership with the Out Georgia Business Alliance is actually through this ambassador program. So I'm so happy that you're here. On the next slide, Nicole's going to take it over and go through some of our expectations of our ambassadors.
Thanks, Chris, for sharing all of that. Yes, so there are a few expectations of ambassadors. We expect you to serve, represent, and engage. So it's a 12-month commitment. We do accept new ambassadors on a rolling basis, and then expect you to serve for 12 months. Can renew after that, of course. Ambassadors will be expected to attend a monthly informational meeting, and currently we're looking at the third Tuesday of every month. And those meetings will really be where you get to know your fellow ambassadors and create a sort of cohort of people that you can become friends with and share insights with, and they'll really be your cohorts in this journey. And it'll also be where you get training, information about what's going on with Out Georgia and the Chamber, our events, our plans, our growth strategies, all of those things we'll share with you at those meetings, as well as handing out the tasks, the monthly outreach tasks that we'll be asking you to do. And those meetings will also be your opportunity to give us feedback. There will definitely be things that we come to you and ask that you essentially be our hive mind and really have a voice in how we grow the Chamber and how we achieve our mission and reach new areas of the state like never before. And next, we expect you to represent Out Georgia well. We have a code of conduct that was drafted by and approved by our board, and we ask that all business members agree to this when they join or renew, and we're asking that you as individuals agree to abide by that code of conduct as well. And that's on our website, and we'll send it to you, of course, so that you can read it. And then, in your interactions in your business networks, we ask that you help us in creating a welcoming and inclusive business environment throughout the state. And finally, we expect that you'll engage. So we have events every month. We have, planning needs and certifying LGBTBEs and other things that, member outreach, calling new members, and we'll be coming up with some tasks that we'll be sending you. And we expect you to be involved that way. And you can, as I'm going to share in the next screen, there's lots of benefits to being involved at that level with the Chamber. And those benefits include connections, knowledge, recognition, and friendships. So the connections, you're going to be connecting with our members and our partners in deep, meaningful ways. You're going to be one of the first voices and people that they see and hear from when they join as members or renew, or we might ask you to reach out to lapsed members as well. So you're going to be getting to know all of the membership at a much deeper level, and those can grow into referrals for your own business or connections as you move into perhaps a different position or field. And you can also in that way become a go-to introduction maker among our community. Knowledge. Being a ambassador, you are going to be one of the first to know about any activities or events or plans that we make. We want to share that information with you so that you can help spread the word and also give us feedback and help us enact the things that we want to do as we grow. And also, Georgia's LGBTQ business community is thriving, and Chris is going to touch on this more in milestones, but you'll get to know about that, and we will share that information with you, and you can be one of the people to share your knowledge. Recognition. We have lots of ways that we plan to promote your involvement as an ambassador. One of them is a special page on our website where we will post your headshot, your title, your company, and people can go to that and see essentially the cohort, the yearbook, if you will. And through events and your outreach work, our members and partners are going to get to know you, and you'll get to know them just by virtue of being involved and staying connected with them. And also through committees and through your work, you'll also develop relationships with our board, and our board will get to know you. And then finally, friendships. And I put this one on there because it always comes up, especially at our galas when, we have individuals who win Business Person of the Year or Member of the Year, and in their speeches, they have mentioned that their time at the chamber has led to real friendships. And I think that is something that we uniquely have as a community. And I think it's really important. And those meetings are a time where we're going to be especially focusing on ambassador-only networking, and that can lead to deep relationships. This is a wonderful quote, I think, from Jeremy Clark, who I believe is on this call, and has also been an ambassador in our very first ambassador group last year. Engagement opportunities. So I've separated this out into several opportunities. First is events, and this is one of the most basic ways to get involved is attend events. Of course, through 2020, we've made the commitment that all of our events will be virtual, in part, of course, prompted from the virus shutdowns, but also as a way to really spread our mission across the state and engage areas of the state where we don't have many physical activities going on yet, but that everyone can be together as we grow and as we develop. And eventually we will get back to live events when it is safe to do so. So at events as an ambassador, you will be charged with welcoming visitors, answering questions about Out Georgia, about membership, supporting staff at entrance and registration, and then making introductions. As I mentioned before, you'll become a go-to introduction maker, and we definitely want that for you. We'll also be working with our board throughout the year to develop committees and give you the opportunity to assist with planning or promotion or lots of different other opportunities at those monthly meetings. We're going to try to bring in a different board member every month to essentially pitch their committees to you and see if there's one that rings true for you. These are some of the events that we offer. So our Business Builder Luncheons and our Fourth Fridays, they happen every month, and they are our go-to networking events. So our Fourth Friday is our big, large, all-skate networking event, and Business Builder Luncheons are more focused on referrals, and when they were happening in person, also happened at restaurants where you got to eat lunch. Out in the Kitchen is our holiday event. It is definitely one of our fan faves, and as well as our most delicious event of the year. And our Out Georgia Community Awards Dinner is our annual gala. It's our time to shine a spotlight on members of our community who've really done wonderful things to push the community forward or have given back in some way. And then our education events, our Out Georgia Academy, our Procurement Spotlight, and our Business Summit, they're all focused on growing our members' abilities and capacity to run their business and grow in their careers. Further engagement opportunities are member outreach. This is something that we're going to be asking you to do every month. It'll be very specific of what you should do. And that's simply calling and emailing members, specific members that I'll give to you. When they are new or have renewed or lapsed, we've also done a 6-month touch point in the past. And this is a way, because you are up here, because you as an individual member have a specific experience that you can share that is unique to you, this is really going to be a helpful and imperative way to keep our members engaged and through that personal connection, so they know that they have a community right away. And those assignments, I'll be putting them online. We're going to be creating a ambassadors only page of our website. I'm actually, after this meeting, learning how to create that. And that is where you'll log in, and the system will know that you're an ambassador, and you'll be able to access your specific outreach tasks and contact info for the members that you're reaching out to, as well as some script templates so that you're not making anything up. We will give you all of the resources and tools you need. And then a big part of that, of course, is logging what you did and reporting back to me and to Chris to keep us informed. You're the one who's having this one-on-one relationship with our members, and we want to know if there's anything that we can do to support that, to help them further engage in the chamber. And beyond existing members, it's also looking at potential members. So you're out in the community, you have a unique place in our business community in the city and the state, and we want your help identifying potential members and corporate partners. And one of the best ways to get members involved, potential members involved, is to invite them as guests to events, which are currently, most of our networking events are all free because they're online, and it's a perfect opportunity. And as we develop our strategic partner relationships, there may be also opportunities to table at events led by those strategic partners, and we will definitely keep you informed of those opportunities as well. Certification is a huge part of ambassador engagement, and there is a 20-minute training that is led by the NGLCC, and there are 2 opportunities coming up, one this month and one in August, and we'll definitely send that information to you. I'll be sending a follow-up email tomorrow with links and information, and that'll be one of them. And that training, it's 20 minutes. You participate in it annually, and that allows you to be part of the certification process and welcome new LGBTQs into our community. And after you are trained, we'll be adding you to our rotation You can expect approximately one LGBT per month. It's a site visit. Right now, of course, that site visit is virtual, and in the future, it may go to all live again, or there may always be a virtual aspect to it. But we will, of course, keep you abreast of that information as we receive it as well. So Chris talked a little bit about LGBT-owned business enterprises and their importance to our state. And Chris, is there anything you would like to add to what you already said?
Sure. Thank you, Nicole. A lot of awesome information shared just there. I just want to point out that our LGBT-owned business enterprises, again, the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce out of DC is the certifying body, and we aid in that certification process here in the state of Georgia. It's important for us to help push and advance the certification process for those LGBT-owned businesses, and that would be 51% or more queer owned. It's important for us to push that for a number of reasons, but I do want to point out it helps us quantify economic impact here in the state of Georgia as well as nationally for certified LGBT-owned businesses. Now there's a slide a few in where I'll just give you some overview numbers, but this is one way that we track in one of the more official ways that we can the good work that our LGBT-owned businesses are doing, and not only the economic impact, but what type of impact do they have on job creation, on better impacting their community. And we also find a number of other benefits for LGBT-owned businesses. And we do have several LGBT-owned businesses here, representatives here on the line as well. But, amongst those top benefits, if you will, of being a certified LGBTBE is unlocking additional economic opportunity for your business or your organization. Again, as I mentioned, many of the major corporations that we do business with have some sort of minority vendor or minority supplier development initiative as part of their organization. Even think about the large organizations that they look at vendors to have a direct fulfillment and support of what they do as a business, but they also may look at other vendors for supporting and ancillary services. For example, a major corporation may also look at catering for a meeting with their staff or executives. And we've got several of our food and beverage and caterers in our organization that are certified LGBT-owned businesses, and they get some opportunities that way. When some of the major sports events, for example, come to town, like the Super Bowl in a couple of Februarys ago, the Super Bowl and the NFL had a specific diverse supplier program around the Super Bowl coming to town, and they engaged with a number of the minority supplier development councils, like the Minority Business Enterprise, Women-Owned Business Enterprise, and LGBT-owned business enterprises to ensure that the NFL, that has this massive economic impact around the Super Bowl, is also committing to diverse spend in the community. In addition to unlocking potential economic opportunity for your organization or others, we also see this as kind of a badge. Some of our organizations, it may not be a direct economic impact for them to be certified, but that organization being able to tell that story of being a certified LGBT-owned business and being proud and a visible LGBT-owned business goes a long way in advancing whatever their mission or whatever their cause or their products and services may be. So we also find that of value. Next, Nicole, if you wouldn't mind, what's the total monthly commitment look like for our ambassadors?
Absolutely. So we're expecting about 6 to 8 hours per month for the 12 months. And those tasks, again, are attending monthly meetings, attending One Out Georgia event monthly, whether it's our Business Builder Luncheons or our Fourth Fridays, complete your monthly member outreach and report back. That's those calls or emails. And then certify about one LGBTBE per month. And this may look slightly different for each individual ambassador, but this is the general overview of if you were to engage in everything essentially equally. And this is another wonderful quote from Daryl McNeil, one of our ambassadors from last year. And now I'll kick it back over to you, Chris, for our milestones.
All right. So we're close to the finish line, folks. So bear with us for just a handful of more minutes. When it comes to Georgia's overall LGBTQ+ economy, we feel it is, and in light of COVID-19, thriving, but it's also growing and expanding and becoming even more visible. I'm proud to say that the Out Georgia Business Alliance has the second largest concentration as of the end of 2019 of certified LGBT-owned businesses in the country, which we're home to over 70 certified LGBT-owned businesses right here in the state of Georgia, many of them concentrated in Metro Atlanta, but several others across the state of Georgia. But we are only behind, as the end of 2019, behind the San Francisco LGBT Chamber out there, and they've been around for a long time, and it may make sense that the San Francisco Chamber has a handful more LGBT-owned businesses than us, but I suspect as we fully embrace a statewide focus as an organization, we're going to see more incredible LGBT-owned businesses that are already out there that choose to certify, and our ambassadors are going to be the ones who are helping us get them further along in that certification process. As well as the current LGBT-owned businesses around the state, we know that even more visibility of our member organizations, of the individuals like our awesome ambassadors that we're hoping to bring onto the Out Georgia family, you're going to help actually inspire others to maybe get started on their entrepreneurial journey. Or there may be ambassadors who are already LGBT-owned business enterprises yourself, and you may have a friend, a colleague, a peer who is considering starting a business or certifying. And we really feel that that connection with the ambassador program and our awesome ambassadors is going to help us grow this impact and this quantifying of certified LGBT-owned businesses even more. We know that roughly 4.5% of Georgians identify as LGBTQ+. And while that seems like 4.5%, that seems like a small number, but it's over 20 billion in an annual economic impact to our state when it comes to the purchasing power of that segment. So we're really proud of those Georgians, of course, but we know that's going to grow and expand, especially as we have, we're working to keep talent here in the state of Georgia if it comes to our university system, or encouraging folks to really think about Atlanta or Georgia, Savannah, Columbus, Athens, Augusta, on down the line as home. And finding a family here with the Out Georgia Business Alliance is one part of that equation of, making sure they feel that sense of belonging and belonging here in the state of Georgia. Overall, on the next slide, we know that there are, approximately 1.4, approaching a million and a half LGBT-owned businesses. Of course, not all of those are certified. We probably have a very small percentage are actually certified just yet. Around 1,400 or 1,500 businesses right now across the U.S. are certified, but we only see that number growing. And again, we stress kind of looking at some of these numbers through the National LGBT Chamber, our friends over at Out Leadership, which does some great research among other organizations, like the Community Marketing Impact Study. We know that quantifying the impact of our LGBT-owned businesses and folks like you and me, family members, quantifying that economic impact only allows us to better tell our story, and I think have a positive influence on not only corporate policy, which we see many of our large corporations leading the way when it comes to inclusion, welcoming, and really making sure that there's equity when it comes to serving benefits to their folks as employees and families of employees. But we see that the voice of the LGBT economy is helping us also get traction at the local municipality level, the state level, as well as the federal level. As we wrap up this portion, Nicole, I want to take a moment And let's see, Luis Ruiz, I'm going to try to unmute you right now. I want to introduce everyone to Luis Ruiz. Let me unmute you if I can, or if you can, Luis, if you can unmute yourself.
I'm showing that I'm not muted. Can you hear me?
You are not muted. Hey, Luis. So everyone, I want to introduce you to Luis. He is our board's membership chair. And we're going to talk about those committees here in just a second. Luis is our board's membership chair, has had a great run here with the Out Georgia Business Alliance, and is our newest board member, we're proud to say. And he's also the CFO of Continue On Services. So Luis, take it away if you've got some thoughts to share with the crew here.
Well, you guys did a good job describing everything. The one thing that I wanted to mention to everybody is that in front of you, you saw what technically we are using to describe, thank you, the role of the different ambassadors. But I think, like Nicole mentioned, everybody is different. Some people will probably gravitate towards one thing or the other. So it's not one size fits all. I mean, in working with you guys, we'll figure out who gravitates to what, because we want to make sure that you do something that you are happy with, that you enjoy doing. And sometimes certain things that, like for example, I love talking to people. I'm the first one that you see at any of our events up front. And I enjoy that profusely. A lot of people can't do that. Simply because they don't feel comfortable with meeting strangers all the time. We're not, well, at times we may ask you to do that, especially if I can't make it to that event. But for the most part, we're going to look at you to tell us with this description what you feel more comfortable with, what you would like to do, how you would like to help us grow, and you grow yourself within the organization. As Chris mentioned, through 3 different companies, we've been members of what used to be the AGLCC and now Out Georgia for 6 years. And I've enjoyed it profusely. Became an ambassador probably 4 years ago, and a board member this year. So welcome. I can't wait to talk to each and every one of you. And again, whatever you feel better suited to help us with, that's what we want you to do. And that's it.
Great. Thank you so much, Luis. And wonderful point. And not only learning about Luis's journey of going from a member of our organization to an ambassador and now one of our board members, I'd also like to highlight that our current board president of the organization, Mr. Michael Daniels, had a similar trajectory. Started out as a member ambassador, moved into our membership chair like Luis holds right now, and now currently serves as our board president. So we really feel like our ambassadors are a great lineup of prospective board members and leaders of our organization who are going to shape the future of who we are and what we do and how we impact the state of Georgia. You know, as we, I have a couple of questions that I've seen in the chat. We're going to get those answered. But I do want to mention before we get to the questions that Nicole and I are going to be following up with everyone here on the call. We're going to be sending this recording out to you. And we're also going to be following up with a number of documents and pieces of information so that, again, we want you, we're not just going to assume you're ready to, you know, sign up as an ambassador. We want to make sure you're informed and that you opt in to serving as an ambassador with the Out Georgia Business Alliance, but you're going to get a lot of information. So from our monthly meeting calendar invite to the NGLCC site visitor training calendar invites to the overall overview of the ambassador program, the training, this training session video where you're going to get that in your inbox as well, and a number of other pieces of information to hopefully better inform you to make a decision on if an ambassador is right for you. We absolutely hope it is. And you know what Luis mentioned, you know, we want you to be yourself as an ambassador. We've got a number of ways for you to engage as an ambassador, but of course, if you want to really emphasize a particular aspect of your ambassador involvement or really focus, we certainly encourage that. We know we have many many talented and diverse folks that are interested in becoming the ambassador, and we absolutely welcome you to bring that to the table and to leverage your expertise and experience here with the Out Georgia Business Alliance. And before we take a question, I also want to mention, if you know of anyone who would be a good fit, not only for the Out Georgia Business Alliance as a member, but as an ambassador, somebody who could help us represent this organization, especially outside of Metro Atlanta. I want to also say, especially those who may be of the TGNC, transgender nonconforming, non-binary experience, those of the Black, Brown, POC experience, those that may have a different experience of ability, veteran status, women-owned businesses, etc. We want you to bring those folks to the table if you feel they're a good fit, and we want to encourage you to think about diverse voices and diverse representatives as part of your ambassador team. So I'm going to look at a couple of questions. Carmen Blackwell asked, what committees are currently in place with our board of directors? I'll give you a quick rundown. We've got our communications and marketing committee, community involvement, tourism, legal affairs, government affairs, special events and major events. We've got our membership committee, which is led by board member Luisa Ruiz, you just heard from, and our inclusion chair, which is all about what are we doing as an organization to be as inclusive and welcoming as possible to make sure we underscore that everyone belongs here at the Out Georgia Business Alliance. Okay, next question I see from Jeremy Clark. We've already done the NGLCC site visitor certification. Do we need to do that again for a site visitor? No, once you've gone through that certification, you're put in a queue to perform those site visits, again, if you're available. So you shouldn't need to go through that site visitor training twice. But for the NGLCC, the LGBTQ certification, so if you're a business that's looking to be certified as LGBT owned, that is a 2-year cycle. So you get certified, and every 2 years, you renew that certification. The next question from Carmen, again, do we need to become a member? Great question, and yes, we expect our members to be, we expect our ambassadors to be current and active members with the Out Georgia Business Alliance. And we would say whatever membership level is appropriate for you. So if that's as an individual professional with no official business affiliation in our system, or if you're a solo entrepreneur, you can sign up that way. If you're part of a nonprofit organization, or if you're part of a large corporation that already has or will join the Out Georgia Business Alliance, we do ask that our ambassadors be current and active members of the Out Georgia Business Alliance. And okay, I think that is all the questions. I'm going to end our recording, so thank you so much.